All right, let's talk about the biggest, most important fight in technology right now. This is the ultimate showdown. NVIDIA versus AMD. And this isn't just about graphics cards anymore. This is a high-stakes war for the future of AI, of gaming, of, well, pretty much everything. So, to really get a sense of where things stand, you gotta look at the current battlefield. And wow, when we talk about desktop GPUs, NVIDIA's position isn't just dominant. That's putting it mildly. It's a straight-up near monopoly. I mean, they've got 94% of the market. That leaves just this tiny 6% slice for AMD. But hold on. Just when you think it's game over, the underdog is fighting back, and fighting back hard. AMD is showing some absolutely incredible momentum right now. We're talking a massive 36% year-over-year revenue jump in their last quarter. That is not a small number, folks. And what does that growth look like in cold, hard cash? Well, it translates into a record-shattering $9.25 billion in just one quarter. This is a massive signal that their big bet, their strategic pivot into high-performance computing, yeah, it's paying off big time. So you've got this explosive situation, right? The undisputed king on one side and this supercharged challenger on the other. It all leads to the central question we're going to unpack today. Is the GPU war finally heating up for real, or is it already over before it began?
Okay, so here's our battle plan. We're going to dive deep into the AI data center battle. Then we'll jump into the trenches of the war for PC gamers. After that, we'll size up the CEOs, their stocks, and their grand strategies. And finally, the moment you're waiting for, the final verdict on who's actually winning.
First up, let's talk about the most valuable and critical battlefield in this entire war. We're talking about the AI data center. Forget everything else for a second. This is where the future is literally being built one chip at a time. Okay, now check this out. This is AMD's strategic weapon. Just focus on that HBM memory row. Their upcoming MI350X is packing a ridiculous 288 gigabytes of super fast memory. Now, why does that matter? For AI inference, that's the part where you're actually using the AI model, it's a complete game changer. You can cram way bigger, more complex models onto a single chip, which can slash costs and give you faster answers. It's a huge, huge deal. But here's the thing. Having better hardware is only half the battle. And this right here, this is the massive mountain AMD still has to climb. See, NVIDIA's CUDA isn't just software. It's a fortress, an ecosystem they've been building for over 17 years. It's the undisputed industry standard. Now, AMD has its open source challenger, ROCm, and yeah, it can save you a ton on hardware costs. But that performance gap is real, and the tools just aren't as mature. So the billion-dollar question for AMD is this. Is their cheaper, more memory-rich hardware finally enough to convince developers to leave the safety of NVIDIA's walled garden? All right, let's switch gears. We're moving from the massive, humming data centers to something a little closer to home, your desktop. This is the battleground most of us know and love. We're talking about the war for your gaming PC. So let's talk about the heavy hitters, the flagship cards. At the very top, NVIDIA's RTX 4090 is pretty much the king of the hill for raw, traditional gaming performance. But, and this is a big but, AMD's RX 7900 XTX is right there, snapping at its heels. And where it often wins is on price per frame. You just get so much bang for your buck, making it an incredibly compelling choice for serious gamers. However, the whole story changes the second you flick that switch for ray tracing. This is where NVIDIA's architectural lead becomes undeniable. In games with heavy ray tracing, its cards can pull ahead by dozens of percent, delivering a much smoother, higher fidelity experience with all those gorgeous, realistic lights and reflections.
Okay, so NVIDIA might win the heavyweight title bout at the high end. But what about the fight that matters to most people's wallets? Who wins the crucial war for the mainstream market? For the best GPU you can get for under $500.
And this is where AMD's strategy just absolutely shines. They focus on delivering a knockout punch on value every single time. For 1080p and 1440p gaming, which is what most of us are doing, their price to performance is fantastic. And here's the kicker. They almost always pack in more video memory, more VRAM. And let me tell you, with how hungry new games are getting, that extra VRAM is a huge deal for future-proofing your rig. And of course, both companies have their own magic trick to boost your frame rates, upscaling, but they go about it in totally different ways. NVIDIA's DLSS uses dedicated AI hardware, tensor cores, right on the chip for this incredible high-quality image reconstruction. AMD's FSR, on the other hand, is a clever open-source algorithm that can run on almost any modern graphics card. It perfectly sums up their two different philosophies. Okay, let's pull the camera back now. We've looked at the silicon, we've looked at the games. Now let's zoom out and look at the big picture, the CEOs, the stocks, and the grand strategies being orchestrated by the leaders of these two tech titans. So on one side, you've got Jensen Huang, the architect of Fortress NVIDIA. He's built this incredible vertically integrated empire with that powerful CUDA software acting as a massive moat around it. On the other side, you've got the legendary Dr. Lisa Su. She engineered one of the greatest turnarounds in corporate history by focusing on these brilliant, disruptive chiplet designs and making bold, strategic moves to challenge the status quo. And this is so crucial to understand. AMD isn't just building chips anymore. They're building an empire. That recent landmark deal to supply OpenAI with a staggering amount of AI compute power, that's a game changer. And with acquisitions like Xilinx and ZT Systems, they're not just selling components. They can now deliver entire ready-to-go AI supercomputers. They're competing with NVIDIA at a whole new level now. All right, we've laid out the battle plans. We've examined the key fronts. It's time. Let's declare a winner in each category based on where things stand right here, right now. So, when you look at the final scorecard, this isn't a simple knockout. It's a split decision. NVIDIA clearly wins in AI training and absolutely dominates the software ecosystem, all thanks to CUDA. They also still hold the crown for high-end, no-compromises gaming, but AMD is scoring major victories. They're the winner in the booming AI inference market because of that memory advantage, and they remain the undisputed champion of budget gaming with unbeatable value. And all of this brings us to the final, most important question. NVIDIA is the undisputed king today, but AMD is a hungry, strategic, and frankly brilliant challenger that's making massive inroads. So when you look at these different strategies, NVIDIA's integrated fortress versus AMD's disruptive open assault, which company do you think has the better plan to win the next decade? I really want to know what you think. Drop your verdict in the comments below.